Well, the funny thing to me was just how it kind of started. It's like that's the thing that took me a long time to figure it out. But when I went back and researched the Flexner report in the U.S., that's the when the Rockefellers created this, they hired this guy named Flexner, and they created this Flexner report. And there was some good information in that report. Don't get me wrong. But the way they used that report was just nefarious. It was really bad. So they ended up using that report to create the medical schools and the medical system. They took over those medical schools. And at that time, there's in the United States, there was about 50% of our practitioners were holistic practitioners. So people who helped you from beginning to end, right, with the body. And now you fast forward to today, and it's like 0.01% or something like that are holistic practitioners. So they just did a phenomenal job of taking over, and you couldn't get a job as a practitioner if you didn't go to one of their medical schools. And in their medical schools, they only taught pharmaceutical-based medication. So the reason they did that was the Rockefellers owned, all the oil, and the pharmaceutical medications could be patented, right? And so that's the only, and they literally were only teaching pharmaceutical-based solutions for people, not nutrition, not the things that all natural things that people need. And they vilified it. That is like really evil. They called people who weren't doing it their way quacks, right? That's where the word quack came from. And that was totally bizarre to me. I'd heard the word quack my entire life. But then to find the origin of it is like, what? How mean and evil are these people, right? And then you fast forward to today, and there's amazing people in the health world, right? Doctors and nurses, and they just are in a system that's all motivated on the wrong thing. Right? Mm-hmm. They're not motivated to help the person get well. They're motivated for money. And even though the individual doctor and individual nurses have good intentions and they're trying to help, the system just doesn't allow them to do it.
From the icy roads of Utah to the boardrooms of Fortune 500 companies, and finally to the front lines of a health revolution, today's guest has lived it all. Once a gifted athlete with Olympic dreams, a near fatal accident forced Rob Rene to trade running shoes for a corporate suit. But that wasn't the end of his race. It was just the start of a much bigger mission. After uncovering staggering corruption in the medical industry and witnessing the vilification of natural health practitioners, Rob devoted himself to finding real solutions, ones rooted in ancient biblical wisdom and proven modern science. The result? A faith-fueled movement for natural healing and a groundbreaking product called Exodus. In this episode of Truehope Cast, we're diving deep into Rob's powerful story of resilience, faith, and transformation. We'll explore how 7 ingredients from scripture combined with cutting-edge molecular hydrogen technology are changing lives physically, mentally, and spiritually. This isn't just about supplements, it's about reclaiming health, reclaiming faith, and reclaiming the truth. So buckle up, because Rob Rene's journey might just change the way you think about medicine, healing, and the power of God in your life. Today's episode is titled The Exodus Formula: Natural Healing, Biblical Health, and Breaking Free from Big Pharma. Enjoy the show. Okay, hi Rob, welcome to Truehope Cast. Thank you so much for being with me, for being with us today. How are you, and what is going well?
I am fantastic, and just I am breathing today, so it's going great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big win for anyone who can wake up and who can say that.
That's right.
Today we're going to be talking about the Exodus Formula: natural healing, biblical health, and breaking free from Big Pharma. But before we jump into those amazing topics, would you mind just giving us a little bit of an idea, a bit of an introduction to who you are and what it is that you do, please?
Sounds great. So right now, I really feel like I've stepped into what God has designed me to do my entire life, which is, if you'd have told me, even 5 years ago that I'm doing what I'm doing now, I said, you're absolutely nuts. Because I grew up as kind of how I got here as an interesting story. I grew up as a young athlete and loved running, was my passion. But one of the things that really helped me with my running was I read a book about nutrition. And that book about nutrition really changed my running. So I helped me really be a distance runner better. And so, that was my goal in life, was to be a professional runner. And then I've had a huge accident. And when I was in college, and got hit by a truck, a 4x4 truck, while I was running. Wow. And almost ended my life then. And so, I knew after that accident that God had a plan for my life. And then I went into the corporate world for decades, and just because I couldn't run anymore. So I lost that dream, went into the corporate world and kind of did what the world tells you to do, right? The world tells you to get a college degree and go work for a large corporation, get a 401k, and have a family with a house with a white picket fence and a dog and 3 kids. And I did exactly that. Right. I was good at it. And then the pandemic hit, and it really had I call it the second truck. That was my second truck that just transformed my life dramatically. And that's kind of the stepping stones to where I really started digging into all the topics that you just mentioned is just happened in the last 5 or so years of my life. So it's been a crazy journey.
It sure sounds like it. Great intro. So thank you very much for that. And it sounds like your life has been marked with, a couple of dramatic turning points, from, promising athletic career to a life in, corporate America. And now you find yourself within as a faith and health advocate, which is really amazing. So when you look back now, what do you think was the single most defining moment that set you on this current career path?
Wow, that's such a great question, because there's so many little events, right, that got me here. But the thing that really transformed my life was something so simple. But it was during the pandemic. That was the first time in my life that I had time to do research about what's going on in the world. And what happens, I was watching this doctor. He was talking about vitamin D and how vitamin D is good for you. And then I saw that the establishment was trying to sue him for billions of dollars. And I'm like, wow, either vitamin D's got to be really bad, or this doctor is just a villain. He's a really bad dude, or there's something else going on, right? So I did a research on vitamin D, and vitamin D was amazing. It's like from the sun, right? It's about as natural as you can get. And then the doctor, okay, he's got to have some, skeletons in his closet. And I was digging in. I couldn't find anything bad about him. He's an all natural health doctor trying to help people with natural solutions to things. I'm like, okay, I don't see anything bad about him. So what's the motivation? Why are they suing him? And then that's when I started doing research on what I call the medical cartel now. And just our medical system in the United States was really taken over in the early 1900s. And and right now our medical system we spend more money in the medical field than any country in the world, and we have almost the worst healthcare system in the world. It's just obviously very, very wrong. And so I started just digging into that. Man, talk about a wide opening experience. So I guess the guy getting sued for vitamin D was finally the thing that woke me up, because then I realized that they were trying to sue him for nefarious reasons, right? They were trying to protect their profits. And I was just like, what the heck? Why would they do that? That's evil. And man, what I uncovered is like really true evil. It's like, that's really sucks, so it kind of made me mad. And it didn't kind of make me mad. It really pissed me off. I was just like, how was I so blind to this problem that's going on in our world? And I was just doing my thing, right? It was all about me. How do I take care of my family and my thing? And I didn't care about anything else. And now I'm just, during that period, I also have started reading the Bible every day. And, that really had a transformational effect on me as a person, because I developed a relationship with God. And now I totally live for him instead of for me. And that's just 180% different than the person I was before all this happened. So anyway, those are the two probably big defining moments, was the vitamin D story, and then just digging into the word and having that transform my life. So I'm a different person now.
It's wild that you mentioned that type of a story with the vitamin D, and then that doctor being completely attacked by
Yeah.
the medical cartel. Because this is a side point, but I'm going to share this with you. There's a movie called Epiphany, the Truehope Battle, which is an amazing documentary about our company, about Truehope and Truehope Canada, and its goal, its quest, its faith-based quest to get our primary product, Empower Plus, in the hands of people who are struggling with depression, anxiety,
Beautiful.
serious mood disorders. And it's been proven, it was and is and continues to be proven to be incredibly effective. And we've had Health Canada down our throats for nearly 3 decades because this product is in direct conflict with the big pharma, which
You're helping people. So it's like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, we can't help people, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's truly sick when you look at the evilness behind it. So man, and I apologize for me not understanding that till like 5 years ago. So you've been doing it for decades, and it took me, a long time to wake up to that problem. But man, now I'm fighting there with you, brother.
Yeah, but it's interesting because so many people are still still not awake to this massive problem we have,
Yeah,
especially here in
right.
North America. And
Yeah.
it does take something incredibly traumatic to wake people up out of that, to start
Yeah.
asking questions, to go down the rabbit hole a little bit. And
Yeah.
there's so many documentaries, there are so many podcasts that shows the level of corruption, not just in medicine or in natural health, but
Yeah. Yeah.
across every possible platform that you want to discover.
That's exactly
The
right.
the information's there, the answers are there, and the questions just need to be asked. But people need to be like emotionally, physically, spiritually shooken up in order to start asking those questions, to start
Yep.
breaking paradigms that have been solidified for decades within their own
That's right.
psychology.
It took me that, the pandemic to just, all of a sudden just stop me in my tracks, right?
Mm,
Okay, my career that I've been doing for decades was ended, and it took the experience then start to me have this great skill now that I want everybody to have, right? Which is that skill of research.
mm,
You need to go research your own. Don't believe what the media tells you. Don't believe what the social media, stream tells you. Don't believe what the music you're listening to, what they tell you, because it's all a controlled message that I
mm.
found out, right? When I started digging in and went down those rabbit holes you mentioned, it's like, holy smokes, our society is literally controlled by this very small number of people who can put out an agenda, and they can make us all believe it, right? And they're dang good at it.
Yeah.
So until you see it, it's hard to understand, right? So even people who I love dearly, real good friends of mine, or even family members that are really I'm close to, they still don't get it. They can't get the veil open and see the corruption. It's just like, but once you do see it, you just can't unsee it, and it's like, oh my gosh, the world
Yeah.
becomes a totally different world, right?
Yeah, and I don't know for those individuals who are still kind of asleep to the real world. I don't know if anything other than COVID will get you out of that, considering all of the dodgy dealings that happened during that whole period of time.
Yeah.
It was quite the wake up call for a lot of people, but I don't think enough just yet. We're gonna have to wait and see what those people's epiphany moment may be. But I know that you've been open during, I've checked out some of your stuff on your website and etc. And I know you've been open about the kind of pain and anger and frustration that you've experienced through your kind of transformation.
Yeah.
And I wonder, how did your faith shape the way you navigated those challenges?
Yeah, it's given me a lot of confidence because I don't really care now that what they can do anything to me, right? They can throw me in jail, they can do whatever, and I'm fine with that, right? Because I know that then that's I'm supposed to be there for a reason. Maybe the person I'm next to in jail, if I pray that never happens, but if it does, I'm okay with it. So I have this confidence. It's just like I don't care what happens, and I know that I'm going to be fine. I know He has me on this earth for a reason, and man, I am just on fire to help people, because it's just there's so many people that are struggling in this world, and he just I have a miracle story 2 weeks ago that we can talk about if you want, but it's like it's just that just tripled down my gut feeling of he's got me here for a reason. So I have to make a difference. It's not, I want to make a difference and I'm going to just go around and do my thing. It's like, no, I have to make a difference. He has me here. I could have easily gotten my upgrade just a couple of weeks ago and I didn't get my upgrade. So I'm not there yet. Right. And so I'm still here and I'm fighting the fight and I'm going to make a difference in this world no matter what.
Beautiful answer. Yeah, I think that strength and that truth that comes with faith really gets people through the most challenging experiences. And
right.
just as I was mentioning about like the kind of the history of our company, thrown in that was some like personal conflicts with members of the Truehope family, with the health authorities in Canada.
I can even imagine.
And you know, our VP here in Canada, he was actually thrown in jail for I think nearly 30 days in solitary confinement. And I think I can speak for David when he says that his faith and the truth that he knew was what got him through that very traumatic experience, and also what got his family through it, and was able to help them propel to a much more prosperous place. So we're connecting, we're vibing on a serious level right now, Rob.
Yes, exactly. I love it. I love
it. So Exodus, you know, this is rooted in 7 biblical ingredients. You know, this biblical wisdom meets modern science that you talk about so brilliantly. So I wondered if you could walk us through why you chose, you know, these specific ones and how they work together in the body.
Yeah, that's an awesome question because, like, literally, I was just researching all the superfoods and herbs in the Bible, right? So as I was doing this now daily task that I actually really enjoy, which I thought, you know, just 10 years ago, it's like open the Bible was like a chore, and now it's like I open it up with joy and wonderment. There's so much great stuff in there, and so anyway, I was researching all the herbs and superfoods. There's lots of them. I was like, wow, this is cool. And I was like, man, if I can find the balm of Gilead, I'm going to be so excited because I can heal anybody, right? I just can't find that. So when I do, I'll let you know, and we can go heal the world together. But yeah, I was looking for just a special combination. I was really, you know, just found it frustrating because I couldn't find anything that was unique and different, right? There's frankincense, there's myrrh, there's all these herbs that are out there already. And I was just like praying, like, Lord, help me find something that's just unique and different, that really makes a difference. And I just wasn't finding it. And but the Lord is good. He introduced me to this doctor that had this molecular hydrogen component. And it was just, I started researching what it does. And I'm like, holy smokes, there's thousands of scientific studies that talk about the health benefits of hydrogen inside the body. And I was researching, it's like, God created hydrogen. Hydrogen is the smallest element in the world, right? That he created is like so finite and so cool. And I'm like, I looked at all the benefits of it. So I was like, let me find the 7 best biblical ingredients that complement and enhance what molecular hydrogen does. And then the neat thing about it is molecular hydrogen is so good, it enhances those 7 ingredients. So we picked them specifically because of the synergy and the synergistic effect it has on the human body.
Amazing. That's very, very cool. And I think, well, many people might think that biblical health approaches are just like kind of historical curiosities, but you've combined them with like cutting edge molecular hydrogen science. So how do you see these 2 worlds enhancing each other?
Well, it's so important. Remember, I part of my personal story was that nutrition thing. So I knew way back when I was young how important nutrition was to the body and how your body performs better when you have the right nutrition. You know, then you know, fast forward to today, and it's like, holy smokes, I have a really new, renewed vigor towards all natural eating and nutrition and health, because our food supply is so broken right now. It's like 70% of our food is ultra processed food and our nutrients are messed up. And it's like, we need to go back to the basics, right? Go back. And that's when I started researching this stuff in the Bible. It's like, let's go back to the way God created our body. He created this temple and he created it in a really complex way. And it's a really, you know, we still haven't figured out how the body works, right? Our scientists are amazing, but they still don't know everything about our body. And so I went back to the nutrition. It's like, man, our bodies, if we give it the right nutrients, our bodies heal itself, right? God heals the body. Our body just will naturally heal itself, and that's through God, right? He created our bodies to do that. But if we give it the right nutrients, then guess what? It can start doing what it's supposed to do. So that's what got me so passionate about that field. And then I started researching the specific elements. So hydrogen is super cool, and it's a brand, just really a popular topic right now. You get all these water bottles that do hydrogen, and you can get these little tabs that make hydrogen, and it's become all of a sudden all the rage. And the neat thing about it is our capsules, because we have our capsule, you put it in your body, and then your stomach creates the molecular hydrogen. So that's what's so amazing, is since your stomach's creating the molecular hydrogen, your body assimilates it much more effective than if you're drinking water or you're inhaling it with an inhaler. And so that's just like, wow. So we've got the best way to get it into your delivery mechanism, to get it into your bloodstream. And then if we enhance it with these other ingredients, because most people, like, we were talking about, are not getting the right nutrients, right? So we have barley grass and wheatgrass, which give people the basic nutrients that they're missing in their diet. And then we had saffron, which is a great thing. It's like probably just a little teeny bit of what you guys do, but it helps with mood and anxiety and stress. And saffron's the most expensive element. It's more expensive than gold, which is pretty bizarre. And then we added cumin and aloe. Aloe is really good for gut health. There's hundreds of benefits of aloe. And we added frankincense and myrrh. So you take the combination of those 7 ingredients, and a lot of them help with inflammation support. So, and if I have a podcast, and my podcast, I interview holistic practitioners a lot, and they all say that inflammation is the source of all disease. So it's like, holy smokes, if we can help reduce inflammation, then guess what? We're really going to help people with their health. So that's what's so fun. It's just like, man, this product not only helps with energy, it helps get your bloodstream clear, but then it gives you the right nutrients for your body to do what it's supposed to do. So if you can stay on this thing for 30 to 60 to 90 days, your body just starts improving the entire time. So super exciting.
Amazing. Yeah, we experience similar things with Empower Plus and other products here at Truehope. When people start taking good quality nutrition and start fueling their brain and body, you're inclined, because you're on that journey, to then maybe not consume the things that we all know are highly inflammatory and going to restrict digestion, restrict absorption, and just essentially turn people chronically nutrient deficient.
That's right. It might taste good for a minute, but then you're going to pay for it later, right?
Absolutely. And I think everybody knows which types of foods and which type of behaviors are going to be negative towards the body, and we are all absolutely starved of nutrients. It's almost impossible to not require supplementation these days because of our soil, because of the nutrient depletion within food. So it's absolutely critical that we are consuming good quality products that are backed by obviously research, that are working in good practices kind of behind the scenes with manufacturing and processing, etc. And those companies certainly exist out there. There's some also companies out there that aren't doing a very, very good job, who
unfortunately there's a lot of that. That's so it's our industry, or at least the supplement industry, is just inundated with crap, and that's what's so fun is to help people just understand that. It's like, hey, you need to really get high quality ingredients, and it needs to be manufactured in a very good facility. And then you're going to get a product that is what we say it is, rather than it sounds good, it looks good on the bottle, and then you do some testing on what you've got, and it's not even the same thing. It's like, what the heck? How does that happen?
I think it's important that individuals not only look at the product that they're taking, but also look at the organization, the company, the birth of that company, their mission, their vision, their values. What are they doing out there? Why are they doing it?
Right.
That's going to tell you how they're processing and what type of energy and competence they're putting into every single level of production, manufacturing, etc. So I think working with like faith-based organizations generally come from there's usually a story there. And sometimes it's like with our story here at Truehope, it's without question a story that begins with significant tragedy that turns into a huge triumph, where we are doing our very best to stop other families experiencing what the Stefan and the Truehope family has experienced in the past by providing good quality supplementation, primarily with Empower Plus in the mineral forms that we process, where they're actually able to pass through the blood-brain barrier and start nutriting the brain. That's, for a lot of people, especially people on this mental health spectrum, people with depression, anxiety, stress, PTSD, ADHD, schizophrenia, bipolar, you name it, all of these different symptoms can come down to the simple fact that people are walking around for decades chronically nutrient deficient, and the damage that does to somebody's body over a period of time, and the body can only deal with so much before it snaps.
That's right. So I think it'd be my hydrogen product would really add value to people who are taking your product, because you get that into your bloodstream, and those little micro nanobubbles that get into your bloodstream of that molecular hydrogen, it also crosses the blood-brain barrier, right? So it's like the combination of your product and mine would be just like a super combination for people. So I love it.
It's a super interesting thing to research and look into, and I'm going to do more of that absolutely as we're discussing and I'm learning. But I'd love to talk a little bit about the health industry, kind of truth and freedom. You're in the States, I'm up in Canada, and we are two separate countries, but we're in North America.
That's right.
The natural health industries are quite different at the moment, but I know you've done, deep research into like the pharmaceutical industry's corruption and symptom-based approach to medicine. We've discussed a little bit about that, but what are some of the most shocking and eye-opening discoveries that you've experienced?
Well, the funny thing to me was just how it kind of started. It's like that's the thing that took me a long time to figure it out. But when I went back and researched the Flexner report in the U.S., that's that when the Rockefellers created this, they hired this guy named Flexner, and they created this Flexner report. And there was some good information in that report, don't get me wrong, but the way they used that report was just nefarious. It was really bad. So they ended up using that report to create the medical schools and the medical system. They took over those medical schools. And at that time, in the United States, there was about 50% of our practitioners were holistic practitioners. So people who helped you from beginning to end, right, with the body. And now you fast forward to today, and it's like 0.01% or something like that are holistic practitioners. So they just did a phenomenal job of taking over, and you couldn't get a job as a practitioner if you didn't go to one of their medical schools. And in their medical schools, they only taught pharmaceutical-based medication. So the reason they did that was the Rockefellers owned, all the oil, and the pharmaceutical medications could be patented, right? And so that's the only, and they literally were only teaching pharmaceutical-based solutions for people, not nutrition, not the things all natural things that people need. And they vilify that. It's like really evil. They called people who weren't doing it their way quacks, right? That's where the word quack came from. And that was totally bizarre to me. I'd heard the word quack my entire life. But then to find the origin of it is like, what? How mean and evil are these people, right? And then you fast forward to today, and there's amazing people in the health world, right? Doctors and nurses, and they just are in a system that's all motivated on the wrong thing, right? Mm-hmm. They're not motivated to help the person get well. They're motivated for money. And even though the individual doctor and individual nurses have good intentions and they're trying to help, the system just doesn't allow them to do it. For example, I have cancer right now. I've got melanoma. So I've got stage 3 melanoma. And I went to the States, the doctor there, and it's like the only thing he can do is the standard of care approach. And the standard of care is only using the solutions that have been approved in the United States to help with cancer. And that's just so frustrating, because if you start looking and doing research, which I did a lot of, right, there's so many different modalities and things that can help people, and we can't even use them in the United States. So in order to get help, I have to, in some cases, depending upon what your issue is, you might have to go out of the country to get help.
Yeah.
And how silly is that when there's solutions out there, but since it doesn't follow the pharmaceutical, the big pharma route, they're not allowed. And so that's just really evil. So those are the two things. With the early 1900s and the Flexner report really woke me up. And then just being a person who needs healthcare right now, and to have them only way that my insurance will cover it is if I go to a U.S. doctor and if they use the standard of care. It's like, that is just so evil. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, don't you want to help me get better?
No, why would they want to do that?
Yeah, like, they don't. I'm a couple $1 million to them, right? Yeah. I'm not a person that can get well. They're like, hey, good, here's another couple $1 million. Let's bring them into the system.
Yeah, it's super frustrating and wild. And there's a long tainted history between allopathic medicine and all of the other homeopathy, chiropractic, etc. It's it's a very, very dark history for sure. And just as you were mentioning that, there are other alternative treatments to some of these diseases. There are also other thoughts in how these diseases have manifested for people. So it's not just as straightforward as okay, you got sick and you got cancer, that's it, and then we're going to do radiation, chemo, or surgery on you. Right. There are different thought patterns in regards to how you actually came to that symptomology.
Yeah.
And there's a much more holistic, much more beautiful way of being able to explain that to somebody that actually puts a little bit of responsibility on let's just say the patient, rather than, I'm unlucky, I've got this disease and I'm just going to take this thing to cure me or heal me or treat me. Yeah.
That's what we've been taught, right? We've been taught that we need to go to the white coat, and the white coat's going to give us the pill, that pill's going to fix our problem, right? That's how we've been trained as a society, at least in the United States, right? That's how we were trained, right? Trust the white coat, and the white coat will give you a pill. And I was a total example of that, right? Until I woke up, I would go to the doctor and they give me a pill, and I was like, no problem. Give me I just want it fixed, whatever it was, right? And my wife was the one who's like, she's like, don't you want to do a little research on that? Like, I don't care what this, I want to take it. I just want to get better. So just until I did research, and now I'm just a fanatic about doing that, right? It's like, I don't do anything unless I do research on it and why it's going to help me and how it's going to help me. And I have a big passion to help others learn that same thing, right? So I really want to give people that skill set of researching for your own and giving you resources that, if I had to dig them up, then I know that there's a lot of other people that need the same information, right? And so why don't I just start gathering that information for people and offering it up for them? So that's a big part of what my future is going to be, is just creating these communities around these problems and things that are like fun from a biohacking perspective, right? It's like, there's people that are really interested in biohacking, so I'm going to have a lot of biohacking resources. But hey, guess what? If you have cancer, for example, here's a whole bunch of resources for people with cancer, right? And it's stuff that is not easy to find because I think they make it difficult to find those. So I'm super excited about the future, just trying to get this information in people's hands.
Well said. Love it. There's certainly a lot of skepticism about supplements and supplementation and the natural health industry, and a lot of, and there, as we said, there's a lot of low quality products on the market as well. Why do you think quality is so vital when it comes to supplementation for true healing?
Well, yeah, because it comes down to actual nutrient, right? If your body can't absorb that nutrient and just passes through, then you're buying expensive stuff to pee out, right? It's just like, if you need to one, understand your body and intake that nutrient, and then the nutrient has to be a high quality nutrient, because you can just get, unfortunately, there's just a lot of bad actors in the supplement space. So they're there to make a quick dollar, and they're not there to help people either. So that's what's super frustrating, because there are a lot of bad actors in the space who have spent tons and tons of money just acquiring new customers, and then they just get them on a subscription, and they're just trying to screw people. And it's like, that's not what I want to do, right? I want to help people. So, I want to give you the products, and then if you like it, then you get on the subscription, and it's going to save you a lot of money by being on a subscription, right? So it's just the opposite type of mentalities. I want to help you, and if it does help you, fantastic. Then the cheapest way to do it is getting on a subscription. Where these other companies they're just evil, right? Then they get you on a subscription, and then you can't find even how to get a hold of them, right? It's like, how do I change my subscription? It's like, I don't even know where to get a hold of these people. So
we here at Truehope Canada, so we only sell our product to retailers. So if you're somebody in Canada who wants to go buy our product, you have to go to your local health food store.
Oh, cool.
And one of the main reasons we do that is because we educate the store staff so well in regards to our products, what they can do, why they work so well, some of the unique features and benefits of them. So when somebody's going into a health food store in their local city or their town, they're able to actually converse and have a conversation with another human being in one of those stores, and actually start asking questions, start building a community, and then these individuals can recommend certain products based on that. I think that it's so easy to go online and order something that you might not have any real experience on. You might get duped by a 2-minute amazing, very expensive ad that somebody's kind of like pulled together. I know that has happened to me in the past before, right? For sure.
Yeah.
But when you're able to actually look at a product, look at the ingredients of it, how they're made up, and then also looking at the other parts, like I said before, like what's the company all about? Like, what's their mission? Who are they supporting? Do they have the clinical research? Like, we have 35 peer-reviewed medical journals on Empower Plus alone from 11 universities across the world, and nearly 3 decades of experience in supporting people. And we've got hundreds of thousands of success stories of people who have been trapped within the medical model, been on cocktails of medications, been able to find our product and actually begin to nutrate their brains, and be able to just be solely reliant on taking food in a capsule form that's been processed in such a way that's alleviating what our diet is doing to us. Right. And it's those questions and that information that not every company is going to have, but it's those individuals, and I inspire people to really take their supplementation seriously. You go to people's houses and they've all got these supplement cupboards with stocks and stocks of stuff that they never really use.
Right.
But as you say, like it's especially here in Canada, like being able to take supplements is very, very expensive. Like, it's a big choice that people make. I think it's 75% of Canadians use natural health products. Awesome. It's a lot of people, and I'm going to guess that maybe 15, maybe even lower than that, 15% of that 75% aren't taking the best quality things. They're going to Costco, they're getting their products. They're not talking to people. They're just, they're going for price, which is, it's okay. Like, life's expensive, but just because it's cheap and it looks the same as this bottle next to it, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's, the same. Or on the other side, just because it's expensive, it doesn't mean that it's going to do you any good.
Good point. Yeah. Very good point.
Yeah. So the supplementation thing is really important. I think we just have to be asking more questions and being more inquisitive. And as I say, like we take a lot of time and effort and energy to make sure the people who are, recommending and selling our products on like the store level are very well versed, and they can actually have conversations with human beings, and they can ask questions that might be able to help guide them into a particular protocol and help them find the right types of products. And that's so important, because you've mentioned the word community a few times, and that's something that we're missing spirituality in our lives, and we're missing community. And that's 2 massive pillars of what we're doing here at Truehope. And I think that's something that you should look in your supplement company for.
Yeah, and in fact, one of the things really important is every bottle that we sell, we have a prayer guide that goes with it. So
very cool.
We want to have that mind, body, spirit connection for people, because and from our perspective, it's like we have an intention that we want you to say out loud, every day, and prayer that we want you to say every day, and then the actual Bible verse. So you're literally declaring it with your mouth, which the Bible clearly tells us that there's power in the tongue, right? And then you are praying, right? So you're praying, you're using your spirit to pray, you're using your mind to say, this is my intention, I'm going to get well. And then you're verbally doing it. So you're using and then you take in the capsules, right? So inside your body is getting well because of the capsules. And then you're using your mind to be strong and say, I'm declaring this over myself. And you're praying and having the spirit help you. So that mind, body, spirit connection is just key to our success. And that we want to build this community of people who are like, are doing that, right? Doing the whole mind, body, spirit connection to their health. Because like as you just so eloquently said, it's really important. A lot of people are missing community and they're missing spirituality. And when you can combine those things, it's our mission at our company to get 1 million new people to read the word through their health. So, you maybe just somebody said, hey, Exodus is a really good product, right? You should try it. So they try it, and then all of a sudden they get this in the mail, and they're like, that's an interesting prayer guide. Oh, it says Psalm 27:1. What does that mean? And then you read it here, and then they're like, well, hey, maybe I'll go open my Bible and see what that means, right? And so we even have a study guide, a 30-minute study guide that goes in more in depth onto each one of those verses to help people just be inspired that there's really cool things in the Word. And if we can get people well physically, then I think spiritually they have the opportunity to make a difference in the world. So we're trying to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, as you mentioned, your goal is to help 1 million people read the Bible every day through Exodus Strong. So how do you see that spiritual health and physical health working hand in hand in that mission?
Yeah, well, like I was just alluding to, is like my mission is to get people well, right? Because it's like if you can get healthy, and you can get your body operating the way God intended it, which it will start healing itself, right? So you can get the right nutrients. And I always teach people 5 things that are free, right? Get enough water, right? Hydrate yourself, get some sun, the vitamin D thing we talked about a little bit, and then get grounding to get rid of the negative energy and recharge your body with good energy, do good breathing techniques, give you good oxygen. And then you get good nutrition, right? And if you can do those 5 things, those can be free, right? And then you add it with the right supplementation, aka in Exodus and your products, that people are then going to supplement the right nutrients they need, and then your body's going to operate the way it's supposed to. So the first thing is, let's get you well, because what happens is when you're not well, you're sitting on the couch, right? You're Netflixing and chilling all day. It's just like you're not doing what God intended you on this earth for. And if you woke up today and you have breath in your lungs, which I hope you do, and if you do, then God has a plan for your life. Specifically, everybody, anyone listening to this is like, you have breath in your lungs. So that means you have a purpose. And so when you find that purpose, you're going to make a difference in this world. You're going to go talk to your neighbor that you may not have talked to before, because you just didn't feel well. You didn't want to go do that. You may go talk to your grandparents. You may go talk to your kids. You're going to be a productive member of society, and then you're going to start wanting to make a difference. And so that's really what we see is, let's get people well. And if we can get people well, then guess what? They're probably more open to having the spiritual conversation. And if we can help them with their faith, even better, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all going to die. And I know that when I get there, I want him to say, well done, good and faithful servant, because nothing else literally matters. So I want other people to have that same ability and join me on that mission.
Beautiful. And just to kind of finish up, like if somebody is listening right now, struggling with their health or faith, what's the kind of one message you want to leave with them today?
Yeah, just like literally that you're here. You have a purpose. So since people do have a purpose, right? Don't be anxious, right? And if you are, then find solutions like Truehope, right? They have amazing solutions that can help you. We have solutions that are amazing for energy. If you're really lacking energy, Exodus is an amazing solution to help you with that. So do that. And I want to give your audience the ability to get it. A free sample of our product. If you just go to exodusstrong.com/free, we'll send you a self-addressed, and you send us a self-addressed stamped envelope, we'll send you back a free one. Now, whether we can do that in Canada, probably not. But if you're in the States, I can do that. But anyways, it's a free gift that we like to give to people. I'm just, I want you to get well. And if you're interested in a biblical conversation, I think that just start being inquisitive, right? And I know there's a lot of people that don't believe, and that's okay. I wasn't a believer for a long time, but just be inquisitive about it. So that's my advice is, one, if you have breath in your lungs, he does have a plan for you. So, get well. And then when you get well, you can make a difference in this world, because that's what we're here really all here about, is to live this experience that we are on earth. And then, we're all going to end up at the judgment seat. And I want you to have the same excitement about getting there as I do. It's like, I want to make a difference in this world, and I want him to say that to me, because nothing else matters. Last thing I want to do is go the other way.
That's awesome. Can you let us know where people can connect with you and learn more about you and your business, please?
Yeah. So exodusstrong.com is the best place to look at our, supplements, et cetera. And then I'm working on an exciting community called Biohackingville. So biohackingville.com is going to be an awesome resource for people. Just if you're interested in all things biohacking, whether it's red light therapy or cold plunging, we have amazing resources there. But then I'm also building an awesome integrative oncology section, right? So people that do have cancer can find these resources and do it. And then we literally have a faith community in there as well. Because if you're interested in things faith, you have a community that you can go ask questions for. It's like, what does it mean by this? And you have a place to go, and without any fear, you can go ask questions. And so that's what I'm trying to build, is this Biohackingville community that's really going to make a difference in the world.
Beautiful, Rob. Thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing such amazing things with us, with the audience. I've learned a whole lot, and I think that we've actually our company and you and your company have got a lot of things in common. We've got a lot of alignment, and
Amen.
I think that I've spoken about community before as well, and how vital that is for people to be able to see that there is hope, there is faith, there is truth out there, and there are people out there who are doing those things that can support you on your journey, regardless of where you are on it.
Right.
So yeah, I really want to thank you for coming onto the show and sharing some amazing things with us, Rob. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. What a pleasure to meet you.
Beautiful. Well, that is it for this episode of Truehope Cast, the official podcast for Truehope Canada. I'll put some information in the show notes so you can connect with Rob and check out his amazing stuff. You can leave us a review on iTunes and on Spotify if you want to. But that is it for this week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.